This is the story that you first heard on ET Now. Remember, it was on the 27th of August that we at ET Now told you that the government was working on a slew of measures ahead of the upcoming festive season in a bid to push consumption activity as well. The government believes that the time is right in terms of pushing the pedal on economic activity and giving the much needed consumption boost as well to the economy, and which is why the government today has announced a set of measures. In fact, the most important of them all will be the announcement with respect to capital expenditure, and the other two announcements to boost consumption activity as well. On the story that we did on the 27th of August, we told you that the government was looking at some sort of flexibility in leave travel concessions as well, and that's exactly what the government today has announced as a part of the LTC cash voucher scheme, under which the fare for round trip to home and back will be tax free provided an employee spends 3 times that amount in buying goods that attract GST of over 12%. Now, which are the goods that attract GST of over 12%? All your consumer durables are mostly in the range of 12 to 18% GST. The idea, of course, is to ensure that people buy electrical appliances, fridges, TVs during this upcoming festive season. This is usually the time where people do this kind of buying activity. It has to be spent before March 31st, 2020, and a GST invoice is also must. What kind of impact this is going to have? This is a scheme that is applicable for central government employees. If states also take it up and private sector also takes it up, the government is currently estimating that this is going to have an impact of close to 28,000 crore rupees in terms of spending boost. The second big announcement that has been made by the government today is a special festival advance scheme. This is going to be for non-gazetted employees. This is going to be a one-time measure, and as a part of that, 10,000 rupees advance will be given for festival spending. It will be given that this money has to be spent before March 31st, 2021, and it will be given in the form of a prepaid RuPay card as well. As I said, the idea is to push consumption activity during this time. But the most important of them all, the announcement that the government today has made, is to do with capital expenditure. The idea is that the government pushes infrastructure spending, and which is why the central government's own capital expenditure has been boosted, has been increased by close to 25,000 crore rupees in today's press conference. Besides that, states will also be given an interest-free loan for a period of 50 years to do capital expenditure alone for close to 12,000 crore rupees. But experts believe that while the announcement with respect to the infrastructure push, with respect to the capital expenditure spending is a good one, the other announcements to do with consumption spending will not really move the needle much. They believe the announcement is a damn squib. Other nations have done much more in terms of capital spending. Having said that, one also has to take into account that these are fiscally prudent measures that the government has announced. The government does not have much space in terms of their own spending power. They've kept the borrowing plan unchanged at close to 12 lakh crore rupees, and there's still a lot of uncertainty that lies ahead, and which is why the government at this point of time wants people to get back to the markets, but is not willing to spend too much fiscally, and which is why, even though the government has announced the LTC scheme as well as the festive advance scheme as well, experts believe this will not do much in terms of boosting consumption activity. Having said that, this is an earnest effort from the government's part as well, especially the announcements to do with capital expenditure, which will in fact help the government push infrastructure activity for the longer term.